Hi, everybody. hope you can hear me okay, and I hope you can see me okay. I have absolutely atrocious lighting in this room, so welcome to me living up my La Sombra fantasy here. And see me get keyed out because I have to get better lighting for this room. So, hi everyone. This is a completely random live stream that I decided to put up a poll and see, hey, it's been about a year since I did a live stream where I wasn't playing a World of Darkness based game. So I thought, hey, let me do another one. So where I'll talk about stuff. Sight and sound good? Excellent, and welcome. Hope everything's working okay, because I'm really bad at live streaming. Usually I live stream on other people's channels and I let them handle the stuff. Ooh, look at that. Look how my drink is. This is fantastic. Professional YouTuber. I'm monetized and everything, I swear. Oh, this is disgusting. Oh, gross. Sorry. So yeah, I hope you're all doing okay. I hope everyone is doing well. So I decided to do this little live stream. Hello, welcome, Agatha. Because I was talking to a member of the family not too long ago, a few days ago, and they were talking about the live stream I did almost a year ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember when I did that back before, or just like right around the time the plague began. I don't want to say what it actually is because YouTube doesn't like that. It's a La Sombra, that's me. I'm living out my La Sombra fantasy here. Yeah, so my channel has changed a whole lot since then. At the time, I wasn't just doing World of Darkness stuff. I don't think I was doing anything besides vampire and talking about LA by Night, and then I was doing the stuff I used to do. Hey, Ludovico Street, I think I said that right. Welcome. But since then, and I did watch a portion of my old live stream just to see what I talked about and stuff, and it was totally different than how I did now. Can't see, but I can't see. What can't you see? My arms? My arms are back here. Can't see my hair? Well, I know because my lighting is terrible and I messed with this thing the whole time. So I can sort of... I have pigtails. I'm wearing pigtails. I'm living out my... If Jeanette Vorman was a La Sombra, is sort of what I'm doing. Yeah, so I have dark hair. That's all you need to know about me. So I watched some of my old live stream, and at the time, I think I was only at 1,000 subscribers, or I recently just hit 1,000 subscribers, and now I think I'm 10 away from 2,500. No, I'm 5 away from 2,500. So, you know, and now I do mostly exclusively World of Darkness stuff on my channel now. And so I figured, let's talk about World of Darkness. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about LA by Night and how much we miss it. I'm going to keep drinking this. And you get to see, every time I do it, you get to see me all keyed out. Yeah, it's Pigtail Huddy. Olaf, hi! I didn't know you were going to pop in. This is nothing. This is just me talking. This is absolutely nothing going on. I don't know how to do stuff because I don't live stream ever. So I don't know. Can I give you something special just for being? Yeah, there we go. I'll make you a moderator. Just for being, just because I like you. Just because I know you. Would love to hear your thoughts on how, if, when LA by Night can come back. I miss it so much. I crave it. Yeah, I miss LA by Night a lot. Like a crap ton. Like I miss it every day. It's, you know, one of the best things ever. Unfortunately, I'm even not less optimistic, but I have even less ideas about how to do things because, like I said, the last time I did a live stream was almost a year ago. At that point, we didn't really know how bad, again, I'll just call it the plague because, again, YouTube gets mad when you call it what it really is, how bad things were going to become and how long this was going to be and is still going on. So I am concerned that a year has passed, essentially. And I mean, are we going to have a time lapse? Oh, hey, Dead and Glow. Nice to see you. There's going to be, is there going to be a time lapse? Are we going to jump in right when everything ended? And it was quite obvious watching through season 4 that the intention was a slow burn slash build up to a season 5. Oh, I just key out my glasses and everything. I swear, if I'm gonna keep doing live streams, which I probably won't, because usually I live stream on other people's channels playing Vampire or GMing Vampire, I'll get some lights. I'll get some freaking lights for this room because this is terrible. If they're gonna do a time lapse, that's a lot of time. That's a year to have nothing have happened. I hope they don't include COVID, or excuse me, the plague in it, because that's not a thing that I particularly like when people do that in games, but that's entirely up to them, of course. I feel like I might just rewatch the last season. Surely there is no way they... Oh, no. I don't think that they're going to cancel it. That I don't think is going to happen. It is the only... I don't know if Seattle by Night is official, the one from Penny Arcade, but it is the official vampire game, so, for World of Darkness, the only one, besides Vain Pursuit, which was just a short thing. Yes, there was, okay, yeah, correct. There was that one shot with Victor and Annabelle, that's canon. Winter's Teeth, LA by Night meets Winter's Teeth. Not a whole lot happens in it. It's sort of just sort of a sit down, I would say, and I don't want to talk too much about it in case people haven't seen it. I mean, it's been out for a couple of months, so if you haven't seen it, you should. Mostly it's Victor goes to Minneapolis, and I think it's Minneapolis, and talks with Annabelle. And Annabelle's been out there supposedly at one point with Carver, and now I guess on her own. And they mostly talk with other anarchs from different domains, like there's a La Sombra anarch from DC and stuff like that. And then werewolves happen. And that's all I'll say, just in case you haven't seen it. Oh, man. Yeah, we're all in withdrawal from LA by Night. The lighting is thematically appropriate. Yeah, like I said, I'm a La Sombra, so that's why my lighting is bad and my technology doesn't work. Olaf, as far as I know, for LA by Night, a lot of the props came from like Alex Ward and other members of the cast. Oh man. Yeah, it's as far as I'm aware, LA by Night isn't going anywhere. I mean, Winter's Teeth was okay. There's not a whole lot that they could really do. I think X is mentioned like once in the very beginning of the session because Brian. I think I want to say his name's Brian Howard, but I think that's wrong. The GM, there's not a whole lot that he can do talking about LA by Night related stuff because he's not the GM for LA by Night, and he obviously likely doesn't have a whole lot of insider knowledge to what Jason's plans are for season 5. Only Salubri are that nice. Well, it depends. It depends on what kind of Salubri you're playing, because I've GM'd some Salubris who weren't that nice. Werewolves always happen, yeah. Where will the LA by Night story go from here? I don't know. But we're going to talk about it, I think. I did start this live stream. I never want to talk about LA by Night. I did start off this live stream. Is it Brian Howard? I think it's Brian. I'm not. I know Teenie Howard is their wife, but Brian, maybe. So yes, I did start this live stream out talking about sort of myself. Shocking, because this is my channel. So like I said, at the time I ended the season 4 of LA by Night, and I did this little live stream, no idea how bad things were going to be and how long we would have to wait and continue to wait for LA by Night. So my channel has changed a whole lot. Mostly now everything I do is World of Darkness related, and I don't regret it at all. I started my channel off just playing games and being goofy, but I don't regret at all changing the course of it to World of Darkness, because World of Darkness is incredible. It's become it has become, and it's Blake Howard, correct? That's it, Blake. It's continued to become an extraordinarily important part of my life, offline and online. It's changed so many things for me for the better. I've met incredible people like Olaf in the chat, and I've gotten to play games with creators far above my station, and not just play games with them, but actually make friends who share the same interests as me. And of course, I'll probably talk about them a lot because they are my really good buddies, and they're so good at what they do in terms of World of Darkness stuff, which is Chris, or the Primogen from the Primogens channel, or Josh from Strange Adventures / Gaming FTL, who is in Stitch of Fate and a bunch of other vampire shows. They're just excellent people, great people, and I'm privileged. I'm beyond privileged to get to know them. Hello everyone. I love everyone coming and saying hi. Chat's so not used to live streaming at all. Terrible. What other splat would you like to see the LA gang encounter? Well, they've encountered Wraith, and they've encountered werewolves. So obviously I would love to see them encounter mages, because mages are horrifying. And changelings. I like it all. I'd like it all to be in there. Ever set some Fomari against your coterie? My coterie? No. Got to get started on Vampire 20th anniversary. Oh, sweet. Sweet. How long have I been into World of Darkness? Believe it or not, at the time I did my last live stream 10 months ago, I had only just started getting into World of Darkness. People, and that's the funny thing, is that people know me now. Especially, I think a lot of you who are subscribed to me know me as a person who does World of Darkness lore. When I do my LA by Night videos, I go into depth into what LA, the background lore of certain things that are going on. That's usually where people know me from. But maybe 2 years, and that might be being generous. It's probably less than that. How are you feeling about Bloodlines 2 developments? I don't really have an opinion on Bloodlines 2. I'm glad it's not canceled. That's my opinion. If you want to talk about Bloodlines 2, I'm going to suggest going to Strange Adventures, because Josh talks a lot more in depth about Bloodlines. For me, I need to play the game, and I actually need to have the story in front of me, and then I'll decide if I like it or not. Like, for example, I only streamed a couple of episodes of Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. If you like a hack and slash game, that's your game, man. For me, the story was not grabbing me enough for me to want to play it anymore, unfortunately. I don't really like a hack and slash game. That's not my thing. Oh god. Oh, you got the Banu Hakim symbol tattooed? That's so awesome. That's so awesome. I'm so lucky. Oh, Ethan, Ragnarok is here. Ragnarok, Ethan is my very good friend. I embraced him into the World of Darkness, and I had him do the voice for my Tsimichi video, because he's great. Getting a friend I met on TikTok to possibly play in my home game. Nice. Hello, Falco dude, welcome. Mages would be fun. I have a mage in my game in Blood on the Grand Strand, which we're streaming again Saturday, so that'll be awesome. Yes, Beth Bullard, when they announced the new clans, Ravnos, Simichi, and Salubri, or the reintroduction to V5, Jason did say in the video that World of Darkness released that they will be introduced into LA by Night at dramatically appropriate moments. Hey, Vampire Bait! I'm also going to make you a mod. That's also what's going to happen. How do I do that? I'm good. I'm a professional YouTuber. I can totally do this. Add moderator. There we go. I'm a professional. This is what I do. I have a question. Would you consider taking part in a roleplay podcast or in a similar project? Yes, with caveat. I'd have to get a some sort of list or something where I know what's, what is required of me, and if this is a game, if this is a show, I'd have to be in contact with someone. Still waiting on Penry. I don't know if he doesn't he doesn't, I don't think he likes World of Darkness stuff. Excited for the next episode of Grand Strand, Utter Chaos. I'm excited for the next episode of Grand Strand. If anybody doesn't know, I GM a game. It's my first live streaming campaign, called Blood on the Grand Strand, which has the Primogen and Josh and Thorned Embers and Salubri Cat in it. And it's one of the things I'm most proud of that I've ever done. What is the best way to handle games with mixed character types? I think mixed character types are a boon to any game, especially a vampire game. What I always, I was going to say and fail, which is German. What I always recommend is that you have a session 0, and whatever the characters they want to play, make sure that your characters have some sort of common goal, whatever it is. If you want to take LA by Night, for example, at least in the beginning, their common goal, they were the type of coterie that were tasked to protect the Masquerade by Baron Isaac Abrams. So as long as they, and in the V5 book, they have coterie types. And if you just look for some sort of general idea, that way they all have a common goal. So even if they clash, and even if they are at odds with each other, that is usually, as a storyteller, you can use that to bring them back to what their goal is. But to say, I did remember you name dropping Will Workers now and again in Blood on the Grand Strand. Yes. Will Workers is just because you get a mod, everyone gets a mod. I only mod people I have actually met or interacted with outside of my channel. That's pretty much it. When I storytell, I tend not to use the names of if my coterie met a changeling, I wouldn't call them a changeling. I'd have the changeling refer to themselves as a Cathane or a wraith as a restless dead. I prefer to use those different names. And for mage, it's a Will Worker. Mod family. It'd be so amazing. You have a really good voice. Thank you. I am surprised to hear that because I don't agree. My keyed out arm. Woo-hoo. You cannot wait to see how they will manage the problem they face. Who will manage what problem they face. Yeah, Olaf, I know you're running a Dragon Rider game. Again, I don't talk about my personal life and stuff on this channel because my channel is supposedly about the content, even though I'm sitting here staring at you guys. I'm really busy this particular month with real life stuff. So I wanted to join so bad because I have yet to play Dungeons and Dragons. I have yet to play it. I shall wield this spanner as a sword in your honor. Thank you. And Vampire Bait, by the way, is the person who inspired me to do this live stream tonight. So everyone can thank her in the comments. Opinions on the new Salubri curse. It seems especially harsh. I wouldn't want to deal with the Ravnos curse either. Well, as in Blood on the Grand Strand, I have a Ravnos and a Salubri. And yes, the Salubri curse is particularly harsh. And my player, Harry, learned pretty quickly, although it did take him a couple of episodes. It took him a couple of episodes to really grasp the gravity of the situation his vampire was in, because he got chomped on quite a few times and somehow made it out of it. And after the last time, he's been sure to ask everyone where they're at hunger-wise before he does anything. And with the Ravnos curse, with Josh plays a Ravnos, we only had it one time an issue, which he passed his roll, so he didn't burst into flame. But that's a thing where he can't really stay in his really awesome haven that he has perpetually. My coterie, how my coterie going to deal with the wool worker? I don't actually know, believe it or not. I did ask them, the ones who are not, and this is spoilers for Blood on the Grand Strand, but the ones who are not kindred napped, that's all I'll say, they don't have a plan. I asked both of them, and they're like, we don't really have a plan. We're just going to see how it goes. So that's what we're going to do. It voice reminds me of Deb of Night. Oh my gosh, no, it doesn't. I love Deb of Night. Like Archangel. I made a Ravnos for a one-shot for Virtual HorrorCon. I made her to be an Amazon delivery driver that essentially sleeps in her van. That's an excellent way. Josh wanted to play a Ravnos, but because, you know, it's a campaign, he can't really, you know, go anywhere. He has multiple havens, but the thing is that someone broke into one of his havens, so now he's and his most secure haven is the big one. So he's a little like, don't want to leave. Oh, the Depth of Night. Any news on LA by Night? No news on LA by Night, unfortunately. Because they really can't get together. Because of the plague. Have you heard of or tried Monty Cook's World of Darkness? No, I've never heard of it. I'm going to Google it real quick, though. Sorry, became my keyboard clattering. That looks cool. I'm going to bookmark this so I can look at it later. That looks cool. Hey, useless. I'm glad you love the channel. So yeah, my channel's changed a lot. It's all World of Darkness stuff now, and I'm fine with that. I'm happy about that. And one of my favorite things to do, besides making lore videos, which I love making lore video. My favorite, besides vampire, is obviously my favorite setting in the World of Darkness. I love making videos about vampire. I'm working on a Kane video, which is taking, like I said, because I'm very busy this month, so it's taking me a lot of time to work on it. I released a mage video yesterday, and the Kane video is going to have a special guest in it, so I can't wait for y'all to hear that. Yeah, Germany's a little behind in their inoculation schedule, so I have to wait a while. I do love that they all unanimously agreed not to do LA by Night until they could be together. I think screens would have taken away from it too much. I agree. All the way back then, almost a year ago, I said, I hope they don't do online sessions. I know they did do one for Winter's Teeth a few months ago, but something is just missing from that. And I know, which is terrible, about my microphone, which is terrible because we all want to go back to LA and see what the coterie is up to. But something just gets lost in the magic of it, is my opinion only. Of course, if they did go like, you know what, we're going to do a couple of one-shots, a couple of like catching up things and do it exclusively online, I'd be there, obviously. I'm kind of close to getting it. Are you going to do a season? Yes, I haven't done the season recap yet because I'm waiting for season 5 to be announced before I do it. I feel like we need a deep dive. I literally did a deep dive on all the main characters. Oh, man. Ever checked out Demon the Fallen? No, I haven't checked out Demon the Fallen. Permagen just released a Demon the Fallen video, though. If you could make a character that would be a guest character on LA by Night, who would it be? Ooh, Beckett. Beckett is always my answer. If I could, I think in every single recap I did of season 4, I think I had at least one portion of it where I was like, "Is this me? Beckett's coming?" Like a total obsessed person. On screens taking away from online sessions were a no-no for me. LA by Night feels like good theater. Now, of course, you know, online sessions are fine for certain things. Like, I think the way Grand Strand goes is fine for online because we're all in different countries. But LA by Night has always been live, so in person rather. Winter's Teeth is good, but definitely missing the in-space touch. Yeah. May I ask, how did you get interested in the World of Darkness? Did it start with the Bloodlines game? Yes, it started with the Bloodlines game. Someone told me to play it, and I did, and I fell in love with the lore, and I fell in love with my character, Fugly, which is why my little cartoon, Huddy, has a Nosferatu symbol on it, and the old Nosferatu symbol, not the V5 one. because at that point, I don't even think 20th anniversary had come out yet. Maybe it had. And so that's sort of an homage to Fugly, because she introduced me to the world of darkness, and I fell head over heels in love, and I've been there ever since. I'm the opinion that subpar is better than nothing, but I'm not mad at all about the delay. I mean, I'm not mad about the delay. I'm sad about the delay. Someone who's been playing D&D on Roll20, online sessions just don't hit the same. The subtlety of in-person RP is so important. Yeah, I have a... Yeah, but it's sort of a bad times we're living in. Sorry, Huddy, I meant a deep dive on lore. Didn't mean to snub your recent vid. I don't know what you mean. Beckett has come up a fair few times. I'd love him to turn up. Yes, Beckett. I want to see Beckett, and I want Matt Mercer to play him because he did play him in Vancouver by Night's game. But I want him to canonically be Beckett. Yeah, Beckett played Matt Mercer. That's right. Oh man. He didn't play. He played Vancouver by Night. It was a charity stream. Is when Matt Mercer played Beckett, and he was amazing. And Cynthia Marie also came back to play. Play Lucita de Aragon. If LA by Night is online, how will we get the right? We need the dramatic entrances. We need the touching, like the in-person touching when the when other characters are speaking, and we need the Jeva stuff. I need the Jeva stuff. I don't know about the rest of you. I need it. To be fair, having Beckett in LA by Night would be awesome. It would be, because he was in LA not too long. I mean, in terms of vampires, not too long ago. Huddy just proving she's a Lasombra every time she lifts her arm into frame. I know. I told you. I have the Bane. I have the Lasombra Bane. I need better lights. I'll get them eventually. Just really cheap. Beckett is the one that is independent and Yes, Beckett, Cuthbert Beckett. I will do a lore video about him. He is a gangrel, and his whole sort of thing is finding out about the history of Cainites, of vampires. And he's the guy who has a theory that Gehenna is cyclical, and all sorts of stuff. There's a book called Beckett's Jihad Diary that is excellent, that I highly recommend. I'm a loyal Sabbat. Do you think they will delve into it more? Well, as you know, or if you don't, World of Darkness is in-house working on a V5 Sabbat book. So yes, eventually I believe Sabbat will be in LA by Night. They have been mentioned a couple of times. Huddy, sometimes I would like to tell you about the Lasombra in my home game that I play in and did an underwater scene. Yeah, absolutely. Can absolutely tell me about your Lasombra. Beckett Mercer would be amazing. Is this music too loud? Or is it just really loud in my headphones? Because it feels really loud. If Marisha picks up as Eleanor again, that's a great end yeah, it is. I want to see, yeah, that's another thing, is I definitely want to see more of Elle in LA by Night as well, because she likely got embraced, and then we don't know what happened to her. And I think I said it in my last live stream, if Elle was embraced by Annabelle, which I think Annabelle says she didn't. I actually don't remember. In Annabelle's season 3 epilogue, she is when we find out that Elle is a vampire. And if Annabelle embraced her, then she is definitely a thin blood. And if Ramona embraced her, she is a higher generation than the rest of the coterie, at the very least. Falco Dude, I do not know if it's available anywhere. When we're done with the stream, I will ask Logan, who is the storyteller for Vancouver by Night, and I will let you know if it's anywhere. I'll send you a message in Primogen's Discord or whatever. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you liked my my mage video, BGC. Mage, with all of my lore videos, at least recent ones, the old Vampire Clan ones that I did are a little bit long, because I didn't quite have a handle on how I wanted to do it yet. But moving since then, all of my lore videos are bite-sized. I want people to be able to take its, in steps, especially something like Mage, which is so complicated. I also need all the Gemma stuff. She played Aragorn, son of Arathorn, yeah. Did I say Aragorn? I meant to say Aragon. Vikos has some issues with Beckett. Yeah, Sasha Vikos would be a cool character to have in LA by Night as well. I love Sasha Vikos. Nope, you don't hear the music? Oh, okay. So maybe I should turn it up a little bit. Oops. Let's try. Maybe hear it now. I don't know. Oh, man. I can barely hear the music. Let me know if that's better. Sabat and Samichi technically showed up in the Versailles flashback. Yep, that's correct. I have a character that I played for over 20 years. That's amazing. Hey there, Huddy. I love your videos. They relax me, and I love your storytelling. Wish you all the best. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Christian. It's very sweet. I'm not used to... I don't really know what to do when people compliment me like that because... like I said already, the channel is not something I put a lot of my personal me into. I put a lot of the content because I want the channel to be known as a place where people can go. They don't know a lot about Mage and their friends talking about Mage and they want to play Mage and what does it mean? What is a Mage? What is magic? What is quintessence? What is reality? What is paradox? And I want people to be able to go and find those answers and not be overwhelmed by the information. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I think Annabelle said something to Mark about the sire-parent thing being weird, so it's unclear. I want to believe Elsa Thinblood. I really do. And I want to believe that that's why Annabelle's so gung-ho about... I mean, she's gung-ho about helping everyone, but especially Thinbloods. Anyone here ever see or hear the live LA by Night they did at the con? Yeah, the WonderCon episode. I made a video about it. I don't think it's available anywhere anymore, unfortunately. Mage the Ascension needs more love. Its possibilities are limitless. I love Mage. I love Mage. I love all the splats in the World of Darkness, and if I had to rank them, Vampire would be at the top, then Wraith, then I go back and forth. Mage and Changeling are kind of on the same level for me. I like them both for different reasons. And then Werewolf would probably be at the bottom, not because I don't like it or anything, just because it doesn't resonate with me as much as the other ones do. Kind of hoping we'll get to find out who the Green Knight was. I went into 4 different theories on the video of who the Green Knight was. And don't get Vampire Bait talking about it because I think we'll be here all night. Or do, which is fine. I just bought VTM 5th edition book. Too bad I have no one to play it with. There is plenty of looking for groups going on, especially since the plague hit. So if you go on Roll20, I'm sure you can find someone to play with. I don't know why any comment was deleted. I didn't delete any comments. It might have just been YouTube being stupid. The one thing I have learned about Thin Bloods by watching other streams is I would never want to play one. Too weak for my taste. That is entirely dependent on the way the Thin Blood is set up. I probably wouldn't want to play one either. It's too loud for me. I probably wouldn't want to play one either if I was in a coterie with a bunch of other thick bloods. But a coterie of thin bloods would be fun. They can make a reference to Beckett and Vikos making it in the bathroom stall. I know, I love that in the Beckett Jihad book. I love it. I own my session with the World Doctor Taliesin Jaffe's Vampire one-shot. I did it. Yeah, I remember that. It was awesome. Your favorite character in LA by Night is Jasper, right? I would like to know if you have your favorite scene or moment. I don't know if Jasper is my favorite character. I think upon my first watch of the whole run at the time, when I made my very first LA by Night video, Jasper was my favorite character. I'd have to say Victor is my favorite character. And my favorite moment with Victor is in season 4, when Jasper's sort of having a meltdown. And I know Victor's sort of a controversial person to be your favorite character, considering the questionable things that he has done to his own coterie, which I do not approve of. But I'd say my favorite Victor moment is when he sort of treats Jasper like a son throughout season 4 and shows him the image of the girls who they rescued before LA by Night started from some sort of trafficking issue, and show that they're going to college and they're graduating and stuff, and that was pretty damn sweet. God, I'm missing stuff. I don't mind if you can hear my dog yawning. Green Knight, endless red string. Roll20, is that a website? It is. Roll20 is a website. I use it for Blood on the Grand Strand for rolling, so the audience can see what the coterie is rolling. Yes, the World of Darkness official Discord also has a channel of people looking for players. That is correct. Thank you for reminding me. I'm never on there. I don't use Discord a whole hell of a lot. I deserve compliments. No, don't compliment. Thank you, I appreciate it. In Bloodlines 2, I would just be looking forward to getting out of Thin Blood status as fast as possible. Let me step up to being the real deal. Yeah, I guess if I was embraced, I would rather be a full-blooded vampire or one of the clans as opposed to a thin blood. In actuality, I probably wouldn't want to be embraced at all, just considering that you die and that the beast and all the other horrible things that are attached to it. But if I was gonna be embraced, I'd rather be a full-blooded than a thin blood. That's kind of living in both worlds but not being a part of either, and it kind of sounds a little bit more miserable than... It sounds more miserable to me anyway. I hope we get more guest characters in LA by Night. Yes, I hope we have more Carver. I hope we have more Carver. I hope Strikes Accord comes back. All of it. All of it. Duskborn Academy. High school for thin bloods. Yeah. Don't think I won't run that one shot. Looking at you, Olaf. I love that thick blood is now a thing. I said it I said it in character in stream, and then I just kept saying it and everyone seemed to like it, so I just keep saying it. Victor is such a good character. I really like Victor's character. I mean, he's questionable, flawed, like all vampires are, but there's a special place in my heart for Victor. And plus B. Dave is so great. It's hard not to love him. I actually do like all the characters, though. I would like to play VTM, but my laptop is old and bad. Oh, I'm sorry. That sucks. I don't know how much Roll20 is going to demand of it, though. We can always do play by post, I suppose, in Discord. I sincerely think Victor will end up as Prince of LA if he survives. I hope not, because that will totally ruin his reputation with the Anarchs. That'd make him a traitor, and then I wouldn't like him so much. Thin Bloods have terrific potential and terrible impact. That is correct. Susanna Rochelle was the Green Knight. Beth, if you watch my LA by Night video, how can I don't even know if I can do this. Can I put links in my own chat? I don't know if I can do that, because I made a video about the theories in LA by Night, and I don't know where they are. I know my own channel really well, you guys. I spend a lot of time looking through the YouTube dashboard. I don't. I don't even know how to navigate anything. Oh, good God. Copy the link. Link adresse kopieren, yeah. Let's put that link in there. Can I do that? Boom. Okay, I think that worked. Hey, Elliot, welcome. Message retracted. I didn't do that. I found that Victor, at least from, is a character that has grown on me with each season. Yeah, I would say Victor really grew on me in season 4. That's probably why he's my favorite now. Has there been any news on when LA by Night is coming back? No, there's not. They're waiting for it to be safe for everyone. If Critical Night, a Critical Role can do it, but they are separated. They are social distancing, and I think they want to do it without social distancing, which I agree with. I wouldn't want everyone to be separated with a divider and things like that. You love my videos. Thank you so much. So sweet. I don't know what to say except thank you. His flaws make me like him more. No, the cast are waiting to be together in a studio when it's safe. That is correct. Vampire is better in person, not on digital with that cast. I agree. What do you think the scariest VTM clan is like if they were in it? What do I think the scariest VTM clan is like? That is a difficult question. It depends on a lot. Probably at this point, Salubri. Just because any discipline you use, and if you're around other vampires, you're at risk of getting munched. Yeah. Yes, you get to put link in the chat. Yay! Oh man, I think Victor is only an anarch until he can be a prince. He just wants to rule. I don't know. That's a good point. We'd have to see. That's a good point. I think he left. Well, here's the thing about Victor, in my opinion, anyway. I think he left the Ivory Tower because there's really no room for advancement when you are a fledgling or when you are young, because the elders hold on to all the power that they can. And it's not like a regular place where they're going to die eventually and you can take over their position because they're immortal. So I think he left to join the Anarchs so he could get the power that he wanted for himself. And yeah, I don't know if the prospect of maybe the prospect of being prince and going back to the Ivory Tower with a higher modicum of power would work for Victor. That is a completely valid argument. Would you be interested in making any predictions for season 5? I will. I will make some predictions, I think. Right, in this chat, in this stream. Do you have your own headcanon or house rules? Speaking when I GM Vampire? No, I try and stick to the canon of the World of Darkness. House rules, the only house rules I really have is I don't require them to activate Flush of Life to use phones, because I don't really get that. I mean, if you're a La Sombra, that's different, but in general, I don't really understand that. And if I allow a superficial damage to be healed in their day sleep, that's the only ones I can think of anyway. I also sort of make up but certain rituals, certain Tremere rituals, I sort of modify it for whatever the circumstance happens to be. I don't stick so close to stone to that, whatever the rules are. For you, it's the Toreador that are hardest to be? Okay. No prince rules alone. Victor would need to have significant support within the cam in order to remain on the throne. That is correct. That is correct. Have you heard the theory that Jan Pieterszoon faked his death? I have. The Venture? I have, yeah. That's a terrible book, by the way, the Venture book. Oh, man. And he's flaunted too many of their traditions. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. I love Victor too, but the decision to get your son Gould should have destroyed his humanity. No, it wouldn't destroy his humanity. Becoming Gould doesn't necessarily take away your free will. Technically, at the time we saw Mark Gould, that was one bond. Once you're on the third bond is when you have to start worrying about making intelligence rolls at stuff to see if you can resist the will of your Domitor. Ghouling won't destroy humanity because technically they're still human. Technically. They're like humans plus. If Mark is embraced, though, that would destroy the touchstone. What if a Salubri had a helmet that acted as a vacuum that sucks up the blood bleeding from the third eye? Well, sure. Is it stored in the tank to drink later? Or is it drinking your own blood? Not able. You can't drink your own blood to regain hunger, and that would look quite odd to be walking around and try and blend in with. That would be a little bit of a strange masquerade violation. I think I'd be teetering on the edge. Kind of touchy subject, but what are your thoughts on X and his growth, and what do you think the future holds for him? That and what's in the sub? What's sub? What's in the sub? What's sub? And well done, your character videos, by the way. They're absolutely brilliant. Oh, thank you. Thank you. The compliments, like, breaks all of my convictions. What traditions and kiths do you like the most? I'm gonna save that because I'm I'm working on changeling videos as we speak. I was working on one today, so I'm gonna save that because I'm still deep diving into all of them. I haven't made up my mind yet. The tradition for mage, though, I can talk about is I really like the technocracy because it's cool. But the Order of Hermes I also really like. They're sort of total opposite, but I kind of also really like them. I'm just excited to see Zelios return home and have tea with Jasper. They have so much to talk about. I know, just like old friends. Oh yeah, and Kanu is also really neat. That's really neat. Any clan bloodline that has genuine competence with Oblivion? Okay, so yes, Oblivion is the... okay. Well, in V5, the Oblivion is the La Sombra and the Hecata. And in V5, there's no longer like the Giovanni and the Cappadocians and the Harbingers of Skulls and the Nagaraja and the Lamia and da-da-da-da-da, so many bloodlines. They are all together as the Clan of Death, and they're called the Hecata. And they operate two different aspects of Oblivion, let's just say. So, just real quick, since this technically does tie into LA by Night in terms of the labyrinth and stuff, Oblivion is the entropic force in the world of darkness. It's worse than the worm, because according to lore, eventually Oblivion will eat the worm, which is the big bad for werewolves. It's a beast with 1,000 eyes. All it knows is hunger, and all it wants to do is to absorb, eat everything, and tear it down until the world is nothing, is a blank void. That's all it wants. And it lives where the wraiths live. It lives in the Shadowlands. So, to reference LA by Night, we meet Petronella and Don Antonio, and they are both restless dead, or wraiths. Petronella is a wraith, and Don Antonio is a specter. Now, although all wraiths are tainted with some amount of oblivion, when they die and they leave unfinished business, they become wraiths, and the part of them that's a part of oblivion, which lives where they do, in the Shadowlands, in the mirrored reflection of our world, they they have almost like a beast inside of them called a shadow. That like the way the beast wants the vampire to survive no matter what. They'll eat their touchstones, they'll kill all their friends just to feed, they don't care as long as they survive, like a parasite. The shadow doesn't want the wraith to survive. The shadow wants to feed the wraith into oblivion. So the shadow will do things like extreme gaslighting and trying to convince the wraith that it was never really human, so it should just give up and go into oblivion. So, when a wraith gives into oblivion, they become a specter. And that's why in the episodes with Don Antonio, Jason goes into describing how when the Benindante dagger is piercing into him. Benindante is an order of hedge wizards and exorcists and stuff in Wraith, and they create stuff to work against ghosts. It's why when they press into, he describes black stuff coming out of his eyes and black stuff coming out of his mouth, and how his eyes are red, which is an indicator of a certain type of specter. And there's only one type of specter that can pierce the shroud and go into the Skinlands, which is where we live, the mortal world. So he's that type of specter. What he wants, I don't really know. He supposedly wants the labyrinth. So that entropic force that causes all of those things, that is oblivion. And the La Sombra tap into oblivion when they do their shadow stuff. Which is why when you are a La Sombra, if you play a La Sombra, and you use Oblivion powers, you need to always make... It's sort of like a wild surge check when you play like a sorcerer. So you need to take one of your... Where are they? Percentile dice here, or one of your D10s. And you need to roll one of these. And if you get a 0 or a 1... then you get a stain on your humanity, for using Oblivion. Funny thing, and because they're using the shadow powers of Oblivion. The funny thing is the Hecata don't have to do that when they use Oblivion, but they're using the entropic force of Oblivion. They're not using the sort of what constitutes the Shadowlands, what the power that creates this sort of mirrored world. They're using the entropic power to control things like death, to drag wraiths out of the Shadowlands and bind them to themselves. Excuse me, hiccup. So that was a long, sorry, hugely long thing I just talked about. I love World of Darkness. Can you tell? When do you think Elden Bell will come back to LA? I think she'll be back when season 5 starts. Oh man. Are you excited for the expansion that Vampire the Masquerade Night Road is getting? Yes. Yes, I am. Personally, I'm looking forward. They are all, well, they're not, I think some of them are still being beta tested, but yes. I follow Kyle on Twitter. And yes, very excited. Delightful. The Oblivion desiring to consume the worm. Yes. According to lore in both Werewolf the Apocalypse and Wraith the Oblivion, Oblivion will consume the worm. I do wonder how Zelios will react to Jasper being a part of his bloodline. A part of me thinks he probably won't really care or would try to switch sides, but then not to stick together. I don't think he would care. No, Heliot, he has to have the descendant of Zelios bloodline, his character sheet, because that is how he gets. That is literally one of the things in the Zelios blood sheet is getting a domain. I can actually look at it. It's getting a domain in the labyrinth. I have so many World of Darkness books. I need to sort them in my documents. Oh, good lord. Good lord. Oh, should be all the way at the end. Week of Nightmares. Jeanette, the Trinity, Sect War Veteran, Descendant of Helena, which is what... I think they all have a lore sheet, actually. Because even X has the descendant of... Nellie has the descendant of Helena, which is how she was able to call upon or use Helena's name to freak out Vivi. Cainite Heresy, Theo Bell. I think Annabelle has the Theo Bell one. Where is the Descendant of Zelios one? Where are you? There he is, Descendant of Zelios. Nosferatu characters only. Okay, so I wonder, can I put this on screen? I know how to stream. Window capture. That's the one. And properties. No, we don't want to do Night Road. We want to do this. Yeah, just put it over my face a little bit. Yeah, I'll just put it over my face for the moment, and then I'll get rid of it. So this is the Descendant of Zelios lore sheet. Did I make it too big now? Yep, made it too big. Fix that. So, Sanctuary. Your haven is a wonder of modern design, possessing security in the form of secret passages, electronic security, even self-destruct button, all while looking stylish and comfortable. Split 2 dots between either both the haven merits, postern, and security system. But someone somewhere likely has all the details of the setup. And Jasper has this, as we know from Season 4, Saboteur. You instinctively know where a building's weaknesses are, and you don't even require explosives to destroy it, so on and so forth. So he definitely has this, this lore sheet, including the labyrinth. He used Zelios as well. He didn't construct the labyrinth. I think he probably only has 2 dots in it. So let me just get rid of that. Boop. Good. I know how to stream really well, you guys. Totally. I hope we go back to Nellie G's family story, maybe even Zelios' connection to it, given that it's all tied together with the labyrinth. Yes, I would love to know what that is. Like I can talk, I can wax poetically about all the things that Don Antonio would have experienced and why he's the way that he is as a Spectre, and you know that Petronella may be gone because her fetter was settled in terms of putting Griffith Park in her name and da da da. I can talk about that forever, all night long, but I don't know why he wants the labyrinth. Now there's a labyrinth in, now that's another thing I was going to say, is there's a labyrinth in Wraith the Oblivion. Where Oblivion rests, or at least the Well of the Void rests, is in a labyrinth in the Shadowlands. And specters live in labyrinths, as well as other nightmare monsters, and all of the horrible things that humanity does every day rains down upon it. And the Oblivion uses the worst things humans have done, or the worst things they think about, or the worst things that they dream about, and uses that to create nightmare monsters, all for the sole purpose of torturing wraiths who are in the Shadowlands, people who have died with unfinished business. That's the whole purpose of it. And so I don't know if that has something to do with it. I don't have any answers for that. I want them though. There is a controversy around Annabelle because of her reckless behavior. What do you think about it? Do you think her character will evolve? I think her character has evolved quite a bit since Winter's Teeth, since seeing her in that. So, yes. I think she's gotten quite more mature. Just wondering when to see Nines and Eva date. Yeah. I want to hear about that. That I would love. I actually, I remember I went on the subreddit when the cast was doing the Q&As and stuff. I asked Luis Carrazzo if he knew about Nines and Eva, and he said he didn't. And now I hope that they talk about it at some point. Do you think there will be worm activity under Griffith Park, like in the old LA by Night source book? Might it have to do with Labyrinth or the ley lines? Okay, so in the old LA by Night source book, yeah, that I believe was a black spiral labyrinth, or a black spiral cairn, which is sort of leads right to the worm, and werewolves who go down there sometimes come out as black spiral dancers. Maybe, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, obviously werewolves were checking it out because they thought it was worm activity, but the ley lines are present throughout every splat in the World of Darkness. Mages look at ley lines as nodes, and they derive magical essence from it to feed their avatars. I think that gives them their power. And, werewolves look at it as a place of power that must be protected, and usually they build cairns around them. And vampires, where that relays into ley lines is with Kindred of the East, with the Kuei Jin or the Wan Kuei, and I don't want to talk about them on this channel because it's problematic as hell. And Kithane or changelings will look at it as a place where wonder comes from, magic. It's chimerical quality. It's glamour, so that's a place where they can go where they're not going to get killed by the cold steel of banality. So, yeah. I really don't have the answer because it could be so many things. Really awesome. After Mage, Wraith is the next splat I want to delve into. Much though, thank you. Wraith is definitely second after Vampire for me. And I don't think it's premiered yet, but I'm going to be in Chris's Wraith video, but I don't think it's premiered yet. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all the characters have some lore sheet. Victor has the Fiorenza one, and X has the Jeanette and Therese one. Nellie has the Descendant of Helena. Jasper has the Descendant of Zelios. Eva has the Karna one, and I bet Annabelle has the Theo Bell one. I bet that's the one that she has. Oh, let's look. Let's look at the Theo Bell one and see. Whoops, that's not the right button. Nope, that's not the right button. Where's the Theo Bell one? Week of Nightmares. That's a good one. Sect War Veteran, Descendant of Helena. Where did it do? At least he picked the Fiorenza one as opposed to the Hardstadt one. Karna. There's Karna. Theo Bell. Theo Bell's a great character, by the way. Theo Bell is the guy who is sort of the reason why the Bruja are no longer in the Camarilla. He took a sawed-off shotgun in Prague, and he blew Hardestadt's head off, and it was fantastic. Rebel Call, you command a pack of rebellious mortals? Nah, I don't know. I don't think she has this lore sheet. Nope, I don't think so. I don't know if Annabelle has any of these lore sheets, to be perfectly frank. And that makes sense, I guess. I don't think so. That's kind of a bummer. Who's Rudy? That's Gangrel, isn't it? No. That's Gangrel. Ah, descendant of Tyler, maybe. Champion of the cause. When vampires want a leader for a rebellion, large or small scale, they come to you for advice or leadership. So she has the descendant of Tyler. All right. All right. Good to know. Oh, man. And I'm supposed to be a lore master, right? Ah. The Eva 9 ship needs exploring. Given Jason seems to love mirror and duality, I'd love if the LA Labyrinth is the exact mirror of the one in the Shadowlands. That would be amazing. I don't know. There is no mirror, as far as I'm aware, in the Shadowlands. But it seems that they pass through... They seem to pass through it because the way they describe it, the loss of love, that's the thing about Wraith that makes it the most... Wraith is not a game of comfort, right? It makes it the most detached from humanity game. It's beautiful in a morbid kind of a way because you're dead. So there's no love, compassion. I mean, you can experience those things still in your corpus as a Wraith, but it's far outside of what you would experience as a living, breathing person or even unliving. So I don't know the answer. Luis loves the idea of the ship. He read one of my fanfics, was asked if there were any others. Amazing. Amazing vampire bait. Thoughts on Carver being Sabat and Annabelle losing humanity in her travels with him? I don't think Carver's Sabat. He works with Beckett. I don't think he's Sabat. Yeah, descendant of Tyler. Yeah. God, I miss Ramona. I miss Ramona too. Ramona's great. If you want to see, let's see if we can do this again. Let me actually find it. If you want to see what Ramona looked like before LA by Night, because she is a very prominent figure in the World of Darkness. Oh, do I have these on here? I should. Do I not have? No, I do. I do have the novels. Okay. I got scared for a second. I was like, no, I bought all the novels. They can't be gone. There's the Gangrel one. Oh, that's a really, really blurry picture. That's horrendous. There's what Ramona looked like during the Clan novel saga, which was written in the 90s. Which is fantastic. 1999. Love Ramona. Oh, man. I remember going through the V5 book, making characters, and then feeling like I was coding some of the cast sheets and the possibilities of their powers. Yeah, like I said, when I last did this live stream talking about LA by Night, I didn't really know much about the character. I think I had just played my first game of Vampire, and technically, I've only played Vampire once. All the rest since then, I've been storytelling. Technically. I wasn't subscribed. You don't have to subscribe to me. I don't care. Annabelle doesn't seem like she lost humanity in that one shot, at least. No, I don't think so either. Still reading through the novels. The novels aren't that great. I don't recommend the novels. This drink is so sweet. Anyway, so we talked about LA by Night, predictions for LA by Night. So let's talk about predictions, season 5. My predictions for LA by Night are hard to think about because it has been so long since the events of the end of season 4. So it's hard to make predictions when you don't know if there's going to be a long time lapse in between or not. I'm almost hoping, mind my dog if you can hear, I'm almost hoping there's going to be something along the lines of, like in season 3, when the cast did a private session where they had stuff going on with the Valkyries and Las Perdidas, and stuff going on with Delilah the Thin Blood, and other stuff that we weren't privy to. We just got, like, I think, a explanation in game, and then, like, a quick little chat or whatever. I hope they do something like that almost, and just feed us crumbs throughout the season. Where'd you even start? I know. I feel like a moment speech show. Jasper's gonna try and Diabolize Xaxter wants vicissitude. Well, to get vicissitude is harder than just Diablerizing Tsubichi. I've only played 20th and then a few sessions of 5 before. We don't want to say that word because YouTube gets mad. We sadly had the plot point being curing it, and we disbanded that, and then we realized the game worked way better in person for us. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like I said, it's not for everybody. I'm perfectly happy and fine with playing with my group online, doing our show. But we're all in different countries, so it would be almost impossible to get together. I think the cast would need private refresher games because it's been so long. Yeah, I agree. I could always watch my videos. No, I'm kidding. World of Darkness games work so much better in person. I'd like to see war progress to more than a stalemate ceasefire. I don't. I don't, because they're not going to win that war. You know, I'm wishing for film backstories to fill that void. Yeah, that'd be nice. I'd love to see all of the characters pre-embrace. So, predictions anyway. Leaving all that aside. My predictions are, we are going to see Beckett in some capacity. Whether it's a letter or whether Matt Mercer is going to come down to the studio and join, which I hope for, because there's just too many references to him, especially with the Book of Nod coming into play, which is, of course, the book written by Cain, supposedly, and is not the only interpretation of Cainite history, which is why they're called Cainites at all. And, of course, you have one of the Weird Sisters, oh god, Hester, couldn't remember her name for a second, being a Bahari. So then she doesn't believe the story of the Book of Nod, or she doesn't believe that those events are accurate. She believes in Lilith, so the Dark Mother, so Aya Lilitu. So there's that. So with Jasper's reveal of him being part of some sort of magical cult, I think it paves a way for both cults of the blood gods to make a appearance, and or mages to make an appearance. Digital works with LDR? What's LDR? I don't know what that is. But yeah, the other group was my IRL friends. Well, I mean, you know, Josh and Chris and Harry, and they're all my IRL friends, but yeah, I've never actually met them in person, unfortunately. Tension of a Truce is so delicious to play with. I agree. Vancouver by Night one-shot with him was an amazing tease. Yes. I was unliving. Will Miranda be back with her and Victor working together? Miranda is shady AF, because in season 2, she was absolutely playing both sides, and just, if I play, I'm playing both sides, so I always come out on top, was sort of her idea, right? So she's not to be trusted. Not that any kindred is to be trusted, but she's not to be trusted at all in any capacity, although I love her and I'd love to see her back in the show. Miranda should team up with Fiona. Miranda should team up with Fiona. I think that's a great idea. Long distance. Okay, that makes sense. I'm hip to the lingo that, you know, kids use. I'm not in my 30s. Wishes for season 5. First wish, premiere episode Eva and all 3 Weird Sisters. Long distance relationship. Well, I've flirted with Josh enough on live stream where I think we can call what our friendship is a long distance relationship. I think he would agree. What do you make of Annabelle and Victor's crossover with Winter's Teeth? Do you think it strengthens them against Cam and LA? Not really. Because I mean, it's great, it's fine talking with other anarchs and talking about what they're going to do and, you know, bring down the cam, like down with the cam, but there was one of them's in DC. I can't even remember where the other ones are off the top of my head. They're not going they're not going to be able to come to the rescue in LA. It's super dangerous to travel, especially now as a kindred. And no. And then you have to worry about things like, and what's funny is you have to worry about things called like the Goblin Roads, you know, and stuff, because that's what they're called. They're called the Goblin Roads in certain parts of the United States, certain areas, and vampires don't really know what's going on there, but weird stuff happens and vampires end up dying. They think it might be lupines. They think because it's called Goblin Roads, they think it might be changeling nonsense, you know, she and stuff, the sort of Nosferatu-like changelings. So they're not really sure what's going on. Miranda was extremely distracting. Miranda was fantastic. Love it. Bring back Miranda. A Setite being shady? The scandal, I know. The ministry? Double-crossing us? How dare. Calling a Setite shady sounds prejudice. I've seen the flirt and I agree. Yeah, Satine played it really well. I really love that. How could you not flirt with Hunter? Him talking is flirting. The problem is I flirt. It's a problem. I flirt with everybody. That's sort of my thing. I don't mean anything by it. I just sort of, I call everyone, you know, honey or darling or whatever. And I just, you know, never mind. So I don't talk about myself. Satine and Erica just have amazing chemistry. Yeah. Yeah. They do. There's of course, there's so much I want to see for season 5, and I feel like because it's been so long since season 4 happened, there's even more stuff I want to see now. And I think the elephant in the room that we all need to talk about is Eva. We need to know what happened to Eva, what her plan was, and if she's coming back, and in what capacity, and what did she do, and where did she go, and I haven't tried not to think about it until someone, not saying any names, Elliot, posted something in the chat of the Josephine McAdams Discord that brought all the feelings back. But not saying any names. I just want some payoff with the Inquisition. Yeah, okay, so that's another good point as well. I want to see the Anarchs in the camp stop fighting. Stop fighting for a second. And remember that it's the SI who are the really big bad guys. They're the ones. Now, Jason has been real easy on them. Technically, when they were fighting SI, really the only times they've fought SI in any sort of real capacity, save for the episode in Le Chat Noir in season 1, was the ghouls took on the SI. The thing is there are some really dangerous Inquisitors out there. I had one in my game who has something called True Faith, which allows these really zealous hunters to look at you, and if you are a vampire, they know it. They don't necessarily, unless they are actually an Inquisitor, and you don't have to be an Inquisitor. You don't have to be a hunter. You could be a housewife, and you see someone, and you get this gut instinct feeling that whatever that person is evil. And that goes for werewolves, for all of them. So they run into one in my game, and they had True Faith, so they are also able to hold up any sort of thing that they believe gives them a connection to whatever power they believe in, God or whatever, and can actually cause vampires to go into a terror frenzy just by praying at them or just by ordering them to get away from them. It's dangerous. They need to remember that. I'm afraid to find out what happened with Eva. Me too. Oh, God. Eva shows up on the back of Nine's motorcycle. Jasper cries in the corner. It writes itself, really. If you watched any of Vampires on Pittsburgh on Stream of Blood, yes, I have. Highly recommended if you haven't. Yes, I have. It is excellent. Top tier. Let's go Convention of Thorns 2, Vampiric Boogaloo. Hey, Garrick. Garrick is supposedly coming back as well. At least the character's coming back, not necessarily... Oh no, I can't remember his name. Who plays him? I'd be so interested in seeing how Victor would react to a True Faith SI. Victor would be pretty freaked out. Because that's not something that's been explored yet in LA by Night is True Faith. The thing I love about the SI is that if you try to fight them off with violence, things just get worse. Yep. Kind of reminds me of coteries. Yeah. Yeah. Victor would freak out. And, you know, again, that's another thing you got to give to Victor's credit, is that he absolutely, without fail, has done everything he Ivan, thank you. Everything he possibly can do to try and convince the cam to have this détente and to preserve it. He's gone above and beyond that compared to any other kindred in LA that we know of. More so than anyone on the side of the cam. And you just got to give him props for that, for trying to lessen or even hold off the inevitable bloodshed. Oy, oy, oy. Garrick actually creeped me out more than any other actor. Yeah, Ivan is so good. Oh, well, yeah. When Jason played his Beast in that season 3 episode where he wanted that tablet, which I think was a part of the Piece of Nod or something. Book of Nod, rather. That was excellent. Smart and conscientious, yeah. I just watched all the LA by Night series and loved it. Any advice for me starting to play a character? I am trying to make a La Sombra. Well, La Sombra, Luffy Gaming, is my favorite clan, and technically the only clan I've ever played, except I did play a Hecata in a charity one-shot. I don't have advice for specifically playing a La Sombra. I recommend that you get Chicago by Night, which is the V5 book that introduces the La Sombra into V5. Talks about how they are mostly in the Camarilla now, and discusses their abilities, their Oblivion powers, their Shadow powers, which used to be called Obtenebration, and discusses their particular Bane. As you can see, I suffer from it. They have an electronic Bane where they can't, they have difficulty dealing with electronic things. They cause electronics to mess up around them, and they cannot see themselves in a mirror. That is my recommendation. And also have fun is my second recommendation. Doesn't the Ivory Tower control parts of the SI? So if Victor being a thorn in the side of Praxis, I would need some proof that the Ivory Tower controls some part of the SI. I don't think that's anything concrete. I mean, surely there are some Gould SI, but I don't think there's anything super concrete about that. Here's my dumb question. What does the acronym SI mean? Second Inquisition, the Hunters. They're called Second Inquisition by vampires because they are reminiscent of the Inquisition of old, from before there was Camarilla, before there was Anarch, before there was Sabbat, when the witch hunters and the from like Catholic organizations went after these supernatural creatures in the world, and it's what caused everybody to sort of adopt the masquerade. I want a hunter I can actually take seriously, because so far I haven't been impressed, especially after reading Hunter the Vigil. I wouldn't take those Hunter the Vigil or Hunter the Reckoning to be a good interpretation or a good representation of what you'd find in V5. There is hunters listed in V5. I don't know where exactly. That you can... Kindred Intimacy. Oh, I should read that. Oh man. I didn't know that was part of the V5. I mean, obviously I've read the V5 book before, but I definitely forgot that there was a bit about kindred intimacy. Love it. Okay, so let me turn that back on. So these are the hunters you'd see in V5. So you have police detective, an officer of the law is unlikely to investigate a vampire for being a vampire, so that one's not, gangsters, clergy, and then the faith hunters, which are the scary ones. And there are rules for true faith in a different part of the book. The V5 book is not set up very well, in my opinion. Inquisitor Investigator, Inquisitor Delta, also really bad. So though that is what I would look for what you would typically find in a V5 game for hunters, as opposed to the older books. Hey, Blade of Astaroth, hello. B-Dave did some great SI NPCs in the Long Beach. That's right! He did! Thank you, Vampire Bait. I forgot all about that. Go watch Long Beach by Night. Am I a bad person because I'm not a fan of V5? You're not a bad person if you're not a fan of V5. You are... I don't call people bad people, but you are... not my favorite person if you are contentious to the people who like V5, or if you're contentious to the people who like V20 or any other edition. Edition wars are not allowed on this channel in any capacity. If you like V5, play V5. If you like V20, play V20. If you like Revised Edition, play Revised Edition. If you like all of them and you want to homebrew your own one, go for it. Live your best on life. I do not do edition wars. I don't like it. There is enough space for everyone to enjoy Vampire the way they want to, as long as everyone is having fun and everyone is safe. I made a La Sombra that has a flaw of disturbing people with their appearance, yet at the same time they were allured and she seduces people. Everyone was scare-roused. Excellent. We ghouled the SI by feeding them hot dogs with blood-infused ketchup. Hilarious. That does sound hilarious. My character, my La Sombra Marie, she was... when I created her, I talked to the Primogen, who was my storyteller, if I could put a lot of my backstory in there to sort of work out personal issues that I was having in sort of a cathartic type way, and I did. So she came from a cult background and was embraced after escaping the cult. So she finally escapes the cult and then she gets embraced into the Sabbat. In order to join the Camarilla, she gave up her sire to the Ivory Tower to Prince Jackson in Chicago. And then she sort of joins this coterie in order to find a Methuselah, in order to get answers, power, something like that, because she's only 2 years embraced. And she's sort of a contentious character. She doesn't get along with her coterie very well. She sort of shows up and does what she's supposed to do. She uses her oblivion powers, and she uses her high intimidation skill and her high knowledge of the occult to help them out. But she doesn't get along with any of them very well, and she doesn't know how to be a people person. But that changes by the end of the campaign. Yeah, there's the idea that some cams caused the whole Vienna incident. Yes, but that's always been framed as more of an incident than a cat's paw. It is canonical that the SI are only ramping up their action against the creatures of the world of darkness because of the cam. Because the cam went, look at the Sabbat, look what they're doing, go get them, boys. And then they did, and then they're like, oh, look at all these other vampires everywhere. Which is exactly how the First Inquisition started, by the way. It's the same thing. Just thousands of years in between. Or just about 1,000. The second rendition is way better than the first edition of the book. It's still a chaotic mess. V5 Core has a lot of great material. Too bad they just decided to pick random on the layout organization. Yeah, I agree. I hate the layout of V5. I hate it. If I didn't have the bookmark, the PDF for the bookmarks, I'd never do it. Gamer elitism in general is exhausting. I agree. I would like to see Aurora again. I actually like her a lot. I do too. It would be nice if someone played her character. I appreciate Jason's acting, but still, I love Aurora. And it's not just because I'm a massive La Sombra fangirl. A little bit. But I love Aurora. Love her. If Jason handed her over to an actor, who would you want that to be? You're asking someone else. It's good because I don't have an answer. Oh no, same question to you, Huddy. If Aurora got the actor treatment, who would you want to play her? Oh, duh. I don't know. I don't know. But every actor they've ever put on LA by Night has been incredible. So I would trust them to handle it. But I have no one in mind that I can think of. Oh, just old school guy who was fond of the B versionary. Okay. Yeah, you can be fond of whatever edition you want. If no edition wars or elitism of any kind. It's not a thing I do here. Love these illustrations. Oh, yeah, it's really good. So anything about LA by Night we haven't discussed? Like 1,000 things, I feel like. I could discuss LA by Night all night long. The Sabbat. I want to see the Sabbat in LA by Night. I absolutely cannot wait. I can't wait until sorry, I didn't mean to keep clapping into the microphone. I can't wait until the Sabbat book is written, because the Sabbat has changed so much since the earlier editions. With the Beckoning and the Gehenna Crusade, there was so much Sabbat being gone, so many elders being gone. What's left must be just the younger rabble of the Sabbat and how they're going to piece that faction back together and what they're going to make of it. I'm dying to know, because I love the Sabbat. I love the Sword of Cain. I love the idea, it's so funny. I love the idea of being like, no to the elders, no to the antediluvians, kill them all, and we are the gods among men, and da 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 da. I love that idea. And what's funny though is that they are being controlled by elders and antediluvians, obviously, with the Gehenna Crusade. And even if there wasn't a Gehenna Crusade, it's obvious that that's still happening. But they're still like, no. I love it. I love everything about it. So I am dying to know what that is. And I love and what's great is Anti-Tribu, the ones who aren't in the Ivory Tower and they aren't in the Anarchs, they are in the Sabbat, and they're the same clans, but they have different, some of them have different abilities, like way back in the day, Toreador Anti-Tribu, Angelus Aeter had vicissitude and flesh crafting powers as Toreador. So it's just, I can't wait. I'm so excited. And I want to see it in LA by Night so bad. What do you think Carver's endgame might be? Chaos. Chaos. I don't think he has an endgame. I don't think he plans that far ahead. I think he is a very much night to night. I think he has a general goal, and then he just takes it night by night. And whatever the least path of resistance is, in his own interpretation. So if the least path of resistance is murder all these people to get what I want, as opposed to trying to find some other way around it, that he'll do that. Chaos. The boobers are out. Oh man. Yeah. If Nora wasn't playing Eve, she could have totally played Aurora. Agreed. Samichi would be amazing to show up in LA by Night. Can you imagine Annabelle trying to write about them in her book? Yeah, Samichi are a really... I think Samichi... Not so much Ravnos, although I love the Ravnos. Samichi and Salubri, I think, would definitely set off a lot of, question buzzers for Annabelle. Because you're talking a clan with a third eye, and then a clan that can craft themselves and others into either beautiful or monstrous forms or somewhere in between. It's fantastic. Sword of Cain. Right. I really like this about when they're when they're not written and played as edgelords. Correct. That's what I was trying to say. How do you think the war in LA will progress in the next season? In a convention, one of the sects destroyed, or a continued unstable peace? It's really gonna depend on how much time has passed, and we won't know that until the season starts. I think it will go either one of two ways. I think there will be a battle or some battles, or the Second Inquisition will finally get their asses in gear and show them what. Cool, blimey. Carver just wants to see the world burn. Yes, that is how I feel about Carver. Salubrianti tribute. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I hope the True Black Hand. I don't. The True Black Hand and the Ptolemy Ron stuff. I can do without it. I'm currently running a mod version of Old 20th. My vampires are running into the rest of the World of Darkness group. I have Unseelie hiding in the Magic Kingdom and the Diesel. Hilarious. Unseelie would totally be at Disney World or Disneyland, whichever place you're in. Hilarious. I love it. I love Carver's chaos vein, yes. And I know Jason has said he's one of the worst characters he's written. I know, but Taliesin just plays him so smooth. Like, I kind of want him to call me a baby doll. I kind of don't at the same time. Mage 20th Technocracy ranking table, it says the top tier is Control Ivory Tower, and the V5 book Forenza said to Control over NGO's UN, which would have links to the Ivory Tower. I don't know. You can't really take what it says in Mage 20th and then apply it to V5. Maybe if there was a Mage 5th edition, you could, but you can't really do that. I mean, maybe. I mean, there are mages who work at Pentex, the big evil corporate entity, and werewolf mages work there, vampires work there. I'm sure. Oh no! Why can't I think of their names? Those changelings whose name I can't think of. I can't think of their names. Somebody help me. those changelings. The ones who are really bad. Work there. Oh man. I can't. I'm talking too much. My brain stops working. I can't wait to see Suzanne's unraveling explored more. So much is focused on Vannevar, but she seemed to be struggling to keep herself together too. Yeah, well, it's interesting. I mean, although anyone with Auspex can get premonition type powers, hers are pretty. Not all Toreador lean into that, but she leaned into it pretty hard. So seeing the future, but seeing it through a glass darkly through a cracked mirror is difficult to handle. I think Malkavians handle it better, honestly. Everything Huddy is saying about the Sabbat is the villain I love to hate. Yeah, I don't think he's Sabbat, but he could be. Carver's on the path to Golconda. It just requires a lot of chaos. You know what? Golconda is not definitive. There's a lore that says, like, if you're on the path to Golconda and you kill somebody, even if it's another vampire, then you can't do it. And then there's other lore, which is why I love it, because it's like an unreliable storyteller. Other lore that says if you don't kill, then you can achieve Golconda. So, just depends. I blush and also snark every time he says baby doll. Yeah. Oh, man. Sure, several Ventrue made their fortunes in Pentex stock. Oh, absolutely. It is canonical that Ventrue work for Pentex. The Autumn people, yeah, but they have a name. Them. I can't think of their name, and I don't want to look it up because I'm mad at myself for not being able to remember their name. But I'm probably going to look it up. I don't know what's wrong with me, why I can't think of it. You think Suzanne's fear of Eva comes from visions? Yes. I think it comes from a combination of visions, premonitions, and from whatever she has heard from Strauss, from Garrick, to some extent Katya. That's the funny thing about visions. You have self-fulfilling prophecies. You see what you want to see in the visions. So, yeah. Who recently made a book on Golconda? Useless familiar. In terms, who did? Another thing I want to see in V5 is I want to see Hecata. I hate the Hecata because gross, but but I love the Hecata at the same time. Doom de doom. I also have a really bad allergies, so my nose is really stuffy in this room. Oh, duh. I'm still trying to remember. It's the she. I thought it was the she, and I said it earlier, and I'm like, no, it's not the she. They're called something else. It's the she. Sidhe, she. Good Lord. Something. I kept saying to myself, it's the she. I'm pretty sure it's the she. And I'm like, no, it's not. Because I had the conversation internally with myself. Good God. The worst. The she. I do think that Chloe and X stoked the fire on Eva a little. There was too much said by X focused on Eva and Chloe's attitude to her. I think there's a vengeance gig in there. I don't know. So that's another thing we talk about is X. Jeanette and Therese. Spoiler alert. And if you are here and you're expecting no spoilers for LA by Night, I'm sorry. Please click out now. 1, 2, 3. Jeanette and Therese are the same person, right? That has been known since 2004. And if you've ever read any of the V5 books, they're mentioned in the V5 book. They're mentioned in Beckett's Jihad Diary. All right, so Storyteller Vault is not canonical necessarily. You can put things on there that aren't canonical, just so you know. So I forget what I was saying. Jeanette and Therese, right. Okay, so Jeanette and Therese are bad. Bad news. Trying to take them down is bad news. They are 6th generation. Their sire is 2,000 years old, and he also thinks that he's more than one person. It is so dangerous. Well, let me rephrase that. It's dangerous for the coterie to try and protect her. If the Cam really wants to go on a blood hunt, then let him. She might survive. You don't know. Can a blood hunt go on for a year? A blood hunt can go on for as long as the prince says so. Oh man, I don't trust Chloe one bit. She is too manipulative. I don't trust Chloe at all. And she is a blood junkie. And I think they even included in the companion guide for V5, which is where we got new laws. My God, I need to stop streaming soon because I can't speak correctly anymore. New rules for ghouls on page 49. I don't talk this much ever, all day. I haven't read the companion guide as much as I've read everything else. Where's the stupid things? I'm so dumb. Where are they? I can't find it. There we go. Okay. Let's do this again. Boop. So, there are flaws with ghouls, right? And one of them, distressing things, is weak-willed. I guess there isn't one where you become a blood junkie. I thought there might have been, but there's not. There's a blood junkie flaw for kindred, but it doesn't look like there's one for ghouls, which is interesting. That's super interesting. You think there would be, but there's not. Huh. Fascinating. If there was one, I would say she has the blood junkie one. I mean, technically being a ghoul makes you a blood junkie anyway, but there's something much more about her because technically you just need to feed after the third bond, which can be done over a period of 3 days. It can be done over a period of 3 days, but that one bond will last 30 days, right? And so then once you do it again, then it's still just one bond. But you can blood bond someone completely in 3 days. And, so yeah, I guess you're always going to be vibing for that blood, but she's just like really into it. X became really scary in the last season. I agree. Yes, Teresa's 6th generation. She is 6 generations removed from Daddy Kane himself, from the big dark papa. Will she be called away with Isaac, or is she able to resist the call? Okay, so how the beckoning is a bit esoteric, and I think that has to do with behind the scenes stuff where the person who came up with the beckoning back when V5 was being handled by Modiphius, and no longer with them, and then Modiphius isn't doing the books anymore, and so I think that's going to have to be handled now in-house if they're going to explain the beckoning at all, which is fine if they don't. But as far as we can tell, the beckoning seems to be a bit esoteric. It seems to be choosy in who it chooses. And the only for sure way that we know that you do not become susceptible to it is by diablerizing your own, at the very least, diablerizing another kindred. It's more likely diablerizing your own childer seems to do it the best. Seems to be the best way to stave it off. So, and I would not put it past Therese / Jeanette to have diablerized their own childer at some point. She is that old, why did she not get called away to the beckoning? I just answered that. Because the writers say so. It's an esoteric thing. It's a call for, and we don't even really know. We don't really know what the Gehenna Crusade is. We know that vampires out there are dying, because in Cults of the Blood Gods, the ashes of these dead vampires are being sent back. So someone is out there who's making it, who's sending these ashes back, and it's being consumed by thin bloods, which gives them the memories of elder vampires, some temporary powers of the elder vampires, and causes them to be extraordinarily addicted to it. So, there's that. Do you think Jeanette would really want to be pulled into that? I think she's stubborn. Yeah, she is. Aren't all ghouls blood junkies? Yes. But I just thought there was some sort of flaw where they're like panting over their master, all crazed about it. Rewatching from the beginning, keeping X's ultimate goal in mind is one hell of a ride. Agreed. Vile fae that exude banality and want to nullify, destroy the dreaming are known as the Dantean. Yes, I know that. That is not who I meant, but yes. Teresa's generation really explains her extremely expressed bane. Yes, and she gets that bane as well, that particular flavor of her bane from her sire, which is Jacob / Esau. Same thing. He thinks he's two people, Jacob and Esau, as in the biblical figures, Jacob and Esau. And they are old. They 2,000 years old or something. So they're like almost as old as Helena, maybe not quite as old as Helena, who is still kicking it in Chicago. So, and Jacob / Esau is in Milwaukee. The she, yep. Yeah, the kings, queens, and aristocracy of the fae, yes. So, but they're trapped here again in the autumn world. That's the thing, I haven't gone into that yet in my Changeling history lore videos. The drum circle seems to have been wiped out. If they were the children of Therese / Jeanette, that could be a reason. It could have happened at any point. She's not old in the sense of when she was embraced. I would say, based on what we know from bloodlines, based on that picture, she was probably embraced sometime in the 1920s, 1930s, and that's maybe not quite that late. So she's not old in terms of that, but her generation is old. Very old. Wait, he thinks he is two people. Who is the third, thinking the other two as separate? I don't know what you mean by that. In the same way that Therese thinks that Jeanette is her own person, and that Jeanette thinks Therese is her own person, and that they are sisters, as opposed to one Malkavian sharing the same body. Her sire, or their sire, Jacob / Esau, is exactly the same. He thinks that that Jacob and Esau are two separate people, that they're brothers, and they do not realize that they are actually the same person sharing the same body. It's like a Fight Club situation. That's the only way I could describe it. Yeah, and the thing about X, also being a Malkavian, does not think he's two people. He has a different interpretation of the Malkavian Bane, but he's a very broken individual, and not just from the curse of his blood, but from what he likely endured before his embrace, that he cannot remember, that, again, as I said, can only be seen through a glass darkly. And whatever happened to him afterwards, that is also fractured, that he cannot see it, he cannot remember it, not in the way that someone who was not a Malkavian could remember it, for example. So he's a tragic figure, and it's hard to be upset with him. I mean, you certainly can be upset for the actions that he has taken, especially if he is telling the truth, that he has been targeting Annabelle since the beginning to diablerize her. But as I said, I think in one of the recap videos I did, you have to take everything at most true to X in that moment. And that sounds horrible to say, and you would never say that to anyone. But the unique curse of the Malkavian blood makes it so that everything he says and does has to be taken with some sort of grain of salt. Which is, again, it just adds to the tragedy, the general tragedy of the character and the clan, essentially, as a whole. Did she not have a split personality before being embraced? Unclear. Unclear. It is likely that she... oh, God. It's in Beckett's Jihad Diary. It's likely that she... either her sister passed away, Jeanette's passed away, or Therese accidentally killed her because there was something gross going on, some family abuse, and I don't want to go into the actual technicalities of it because this is on YouTube and it's gross. So something along those lines. It is in Beckett's Jihad Diary, so I do recommend everyone get a copy. Oh my goodness, Eva is in the chat. Hello, Josephine McAdam. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Welcome to my extraordinarily dark and fuzzy live stream because I have no lights. I love the neon graphic from the book. Yeah, thank you. I use it as my background all the time. Dissociative identity disorder, yeah. X and Eva needed to have more scenes together. I know, they technically, season 4 was the only time we saw Eva and X on screen together. In season 2, episode 1, X was in Griffith Park with Eva, but that was Jason playing Eva, so it's not the same. Jeanette and her alter suffer from, yes, dissociative identity disorder. And again, I don't want to go into the details of that. When Jacob and Esau from Milwaukee by Night and Therese and Jeanette are from Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, when those games were being made, and 2004 is not that long ago, but a lot has changed in our society and our culture. And as a person who suffers from mental disorders that I take medication for and I go to therapy for and psychiatrists for and things like that, it's not something that I love to discuss the particulars of that Bane. I admire people like Xander Jeanneret who can play X and play him with such pathos and such he does it so well. It's almost like he was born to play a Malkavian. And you can play it in a way that does not make fun of them, that does not glorify their issues from their embrace. It does not mirror it exactly as it is in the real world. It's a special quality that he has. And I appreciate every time X is on screen. But I don't really like to go into the actual illnesses that are mirrored in the Malkavian Bane. That's just me personally. Oh, yeah, I've said so many times. My goodness. Oh, God. I've said so many times that they just need a salubrious to come there and just sit them all down, like Annabelle said. It'd be a killing in vampire therapy. I would love it. Actually, I would love if the death surgeon came. I'd love if Eva maybe doesn't come back immediately in season 5, but Josephine comes back as the death surgeon from her one shot for the family holiday. I would love that. I love it. Yes, Josephine, you need more scenes with Xander. You guys were amazing together when you were dancing in Nellie's party. That's incredible. So for Therese in The Beckoning, considering her backstory, she sounds rather young, so maybe best age rather than generation. It could be. But Isaac Abrams was embraced later than Therese and Jeanette, and his generation is not as high, or low rather, as Therese and Jeanette. It's sort of one of those esoteric things that we just have to accept. Enjoy my keyed out glass and my keyed out arm. Absolutely have to buy some lights. Oh man. Yes, Xander is a gift. I agree. Oh, when X was first introduced, was afraid he'd be very fishmalk. I'm very glad I was wrong. I see that I had someone leave me a comment on my X video recently saying like, "Oh, such a fishmalk," and I never got that fishmalk at all. As someone who loves the lore, Xander showed up on set, I suppose, and recited the line from the Malkavian clan book. About the story about the elephants and the bats. And I was like, damn. It was for me, it was like a hot damn moment, and I've loved him ever since. I always got so excited when he would be in an episode, and then he joined Eva as a main cast member, or as a part of the main cast, and it's just super exciting. Yes, I think the Death Surgeon should absolutely come visit the Valley Coterie. I think that'd be amazing. We should absolutely do that. X reacting to the Death Surgeon's name would be gold. Yes! I love the Death Surgeon. Yeah, that was a great, let's just, let's talk about all the people involved with the World of Darkness. Let's talk about Outstar for a second. Outstar is incredible. They are an incredible person who does so much for the World of Darkness. And if you haven't said, hey to Outstar on Instagram or on Twitter or whatever, you should, because they're awesome. And they set up the World of Darkness holiday event last year in December. And it was the most fun. And I even got to storytell on the official World of Darkness Twitch channel. It was absolutely the honor of my whole life. It's probably one of the top things that's ever happened to me, especially in a year like 2020. So I was floored. And then, of course, seeing Outstar and Josephine and Critical Bard. I am not sure what his real name is. I just refer to him as Critical Bard. So seeing them play in a one-shot with, I think, Brian Holland, who was the GM, was absolutely incredible. It was the best. And being part of the family, even getting to be part of the family holiday, seeing Stitch of Fate, seeing the cast members of Stitch of Fate, which is a podcast only, seeing Mark Meir show up wearing his full Nosferatu in latex mask thing, was incredible. It was just the best weekend I'd had in, I can't even remember when. Oh man. I know, living my La Sombra fantasy over here. Outstar does work so hard for the community. Outstar is a delight. They are a treasure. They are incredible. Omega Jones, thank you. I just refer to them as Critical Bard because I'm bad at remembering names. As was shown earlier on the stream, when I couldn't remember the name of Blake Howard, who did the Winter's Teeth comics. Xander is an exceptional role player, improves every game he's in. Yes. Yes. Joe as an yes. Josephine was also in played with Nora Ibrahim. She played an Inquisitor. Was it Pittsburgh in lockdown? Was that the name of it? I can't remember them all. I watched them all, but I can't remember them all. Oh, man. Huddy dropping sugar cubes into her one shot made my whole week. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that none of my players watch LA by Night. Josh doesn't watch LA by Night. Chris doesn't watch LA by Night. Harry and Kitsu don't watch LA by Night. So I knew that if I made the drug the Thin Bloods are making, little sugar cubes, call them tender sugar, I knew that would just be for anybody who was watching from the Sugar Cube Discord. That was completely for you guys, and I still have it in the game. It's all for you, because you guys are amazing. Was it Inquisitors of Pittsburgh? I thought it was Pittsburgh in lockdown. Oops. I don't have to promo you, Josephine. I want to promo you and everything. I want to promo you and everything. Although the season of Eclipse is over, so I can't promo that. Unless it's going to be put up somewhere where people can watch it. Don't know, reruns on their Twitch? Go subscribe to Josephine's Twitch channel so you can watch all the amazing stuff that they do over there. Loved your live stream on Coteries of New York, your southern accent. So I do a southern accent a lot in Blood on the Grand Strand because it takes place in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I lived in South Carolina for 7 years. And although I was born and raised in Boston, I can do a southern accent pretty well. And talk about, I don't know, we talk about chicken bog and going to go fishing for catfish. The southern accent I did for Sophie Langley was more of a Scarlett O'Hara Gone with the Wind. Like, oh my, type of accent. Horrifying. Is it all on YouTube? I was not aware of that. Go subscribe, Josephine, and all the links. Someone put links. One of my mods put links of stuff in there. I don't live stream, so I'm just like, I don't know. Do stuff. Yes, you are breathtaking. Well, that is a wonderful. Thank you. Huddy doesn't do accents. That's not a thing. Although Huddy does incessant amount of accents on Blood on the Grand Strand. And my Boston accent is, Boston. And go park the car over in Harvard Yard. But that's an accent So I was born and raised in the city of Boston, and when I was 19, I left for reasons that I don't talk about. But and I ran down to Atlanta in South Carolina, and then I made my way up to South Carolina, and that's where I lived. And the thing is that when you live in the South and you have such a harsh accent, like a Boston accent, people get my Spanish, and then I like to pretend like I'm Cuban, which I'm not. When you have such a harsh accent like that, the people in the South, they tend to sort of poke fun at you a little. They call you, a carpetbagger, or you're a Yank. Say this for a nickel. And so I just tried to do sort of this neutral weather person, newscaster accent so that it's more neutral and not quite so obvious. Try to pronounce, but there are certain words I can't say, like for is hard for me to say, or drawer, like in a drawer where you keep something in. It's hard for me to say. I want to say draw. Full and draw. Oh God. Any advice for launching a V5E campaign for YouTube? Get someone who knows how to do stream stuff like I did, because I don't know how, and then have fun. Get someone who knows how to do overlays and knows how to make the streaming service work and knows how to record stuff on OBS, and then you're good to go. And then, talk to your players, have a session 0. Because Josh does everything for me. I don't do any of it because I can't. Because I am illiterate. Computer illiterate. As a GM foreman Southerner, a Southern accent is a favorite go-to. Yeah, I know. It's super easy to. And my Spanish Victorian accent, yeah. That's more... Boston or Austin? Boston. I can't think of the Victoria accent. It's sort of just a thing I do. I can't think of how to do it at the moment. the Victoria's an NPC in Blood on the Grand Strand. I haven't revealed that, but it's fine. She's supposed to be from Cuba. So it's just a southern accent I do. Spanish accent, excuse me. Plus I speak Spanish, so I like to throw in cariño, little Spanish in there. I like the contrast in X. He's so warm and sweet, but at the same time, he has a very dark inside. He's traumatized and damaged. I would like a happy ending for him. I would love a happy ending for all the members of the Coterie. It is a hard thing to come by in the cold banality of the world of darkness, but the running... I get... Does a tired seneschal accent pretty well, too. I did do a one-shot for some members of the family privately, where everything was in Boston. That was super fun. God. Sorry. One thing I get into, I don't, as I already said earlier, edition wars are not a thing I do on this channel. I don't get into any sort of argument about factions, characters. That's not a thing I do here. If you want to have those discussions, there's plenty of places on the internet to have those discussions. One thing, though, that really gets under my skin, and I try not to interact with people who say things like this, but sometimes I do, and I regret it, is the world of darkness is the running theme in every setting in the world of darkness is hope. And if you do not see the themes of hope in the world of darkness, you need to reread something. You're missing something. For vampires, it's the hope to stave off the beast and hold on to their humanity. For werewolves, it's the hope to win the apocalyptic fight against the worm. For mages, it's the hope for ascension. And that might be a hope for themselves or a hope for humanity, a hope for the world. And it's not always a good thing. But that is the hope that they hold on to, that they can make things better for themselves or for others. For Changeling, it's the hope of a resurgence of glamour in the world and a fight to stave off the cold steel of banality. And for Wraiths, it's the hope of transcendence, that they can settle whatever business they left behind, settle their fetters, and move on to whatever waits beyond death. So with X, with all the characters, as tragic as their backstories are, as much damage and trauma that they've been through, what keeps them going every day or every night is hope. And when that is no longer there, there's no longer a reason for them to be. So as tragic and sad as it is to watch what X has gone through, what Eva has gone through with the trauma with Strauss, and who knows what she dealt with before and after, you have to remember that hope is the most important thing in the world of darkness. Without it, if you do not have hope, if you do not have light, you cannot see how dark the world really is. You need something to hold on to, or it's just a spiral into oblivion. Oh, God. Yeah, if you go to Boston, the same thing. If you go to Boston and you're from and you're from the South, they'll be like, "What's a sweet tea? Boiled peanuts? Never heard of them." Oh, man. As a Texan, I can confirm Southerners like to make fun of accents, despite having an accent, yeah. We Southerners do not have accents. It's everyone else who has accents. Happy ending equals diablerie. Yeah. Oh, God. I don't talk about Kindred of the East on this channel because I don't want to. Like love. Yeah, love is a... Yep. In a world... Not so much with mage and werewolf and changeling, but especially with vampire and to some extent wraith, although it's much harder to find love in wraith, unless you die with your loved one, I suppose. But vampire love is one of those things that can absolutely connect you to humanity. Not necessarily love between two kindred, because there is nothing human about kindred, although we're human and stuff, so that's sort of a weird gray area. But the emotion of love, compassion, empathy, all those things that make up the human experience are so important for vampires to still be able to experience. Because without it, they are losing touch with their humanity. And the beast doesn't care about love. The beast will, if it gets into control, it will eat all your friends, eat all your touchstones, and ruin your entire unlife, and just slash down your humanity until you have no humanity and you are a white and the beast has total control and you're gone. So yes, love is absolutely super duper important. And dark and dark punk, exactly. Hi Ethan, welcome. And that's it's I love and I love the love in LA by Night, the love between Eva and Jasper. When Eva left, it hurt. It hurt, and it still hurts when I think about it. But there is also so much going on between the two of them that needs to be explored. Not necessarily on screen for all of us to gawk at, but it needs to be explored. There's certain things that Jasper says to Eva that is a little strange. I think there's certain walls that Eva has up that is hard for her to break down, and I get it. So yeah, I would absolutely love, I mean, they've gone through the honeymoon phase, the puppy dog phase, that's done. We've all been through that. We've all been there. And then you need to move on to decide whether this is, you know, something temporary or if this is something more. Looks longingly at Gemma. If the beasts were really diabolical, though, you'd think it would let you keep your humanity and make you do horrible things, so you suffer. Well, that's that. Josephine, let me introduce you to the shadow. The beast is more like a parasite. It doesn't really care about your emotions or your feelings. I think it cares more just about survival. It is like I can't describe it as any other way than a parasite. But technically, vampires, when they die, they can go to the Shadowlands to become wraiths. They absolutely can do this. It is not always a thing that happens, and of course not every person who dies becomes a wraith, but a shadow, now that is all about tormenting you. That shadow exists to do nothing else but torment you. Whether it's whispering in your head all the time, telling you you were never really a person. Those memories you think you have, they aren't real. You're not real. None of this is real. And they, or, you know, compelling, there's something different ahead, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. I miss Jeva so much. The shadow is I've done a lot of exploration of the World of Darkness. I make a lot of lore videos about the World of Darkness. Nothing has ever scared me. Now even Oblivion, the giant entropic beast with 1,000 eyes, primal entity that's, you know, there all the time, doesn't scare me as much as the idea of a shadow. It's like the worst voice in your head, always there, and it doesn't just want to torture you, it wants to take over you and put you into the catharsis and walk you into oblivion where you are obliterated. It's just the scariest aspect of the World of Darkness for me, personally. LA by Night has almost all aspects of love in it, even the darker side of love, the possessive side. Jasper is possessive. Does need to be discussed. I love Jasper and I love Eva, but Jasper's weirdly possessive. I get it. It's also kind of a Nosferatu thing, but it's weird. Victor's twist of I don't care if you hate me. Yeah, Victor's kind of like it's so weird. He's a better dad as a vampire than he ever was as a person. I think that Jasper's hunger of power and training dark magic will backfire and harm him and others. Yes. Dark magic, that's a gray area. The light or dark is the person who wields it. But a lust for power, a hunger for power, very rarely leaves people unscathed. Very rarely. People around them. Usually you have to walk on other people, step on other people to get real power. I think there was love in Wraith and that love for someone left behind. Yes, that type of love, though, is a sad love because no matter what, I mean, yes, in Wraith you could become arisen for a temporary amount of time and show up in corporeal form in the the skin lands and, you know, stuff, but you'd probably freak out your fetter if you did that, you know. It's sort of as I said before, there's a macabre, morbid beauty to Wraith that speaks to me on a really weird, esoteric, existential, Kierkegaard level that I just love. So it's kind of more of a sad, tragic love than what Jeva is, which is also kind of sad and tragic. That's terrifying? Yeah, Wraith is pretty scary. Wraith is really scary. Personal is always more terrifying than the abstract. Correct. That's what I was trying to say, and you summed it up beautifully. The way Jason described the La Sombre Shadow scares the bejesus out of me. Well, it comes from Oblivion, so that's why it's scary. Yeah, I do know your thoughts on Jasper's Season 4 behavior. We can talk about it some more if you want to. Shadow is and cannot help but be utterly frightening. It is. Say whatever you'd like about it. We say a lot of negative things about their relationship. To be honest, we like twisting knives. Oh, Josephine! Killing me! Killing me! Oh, God. Yeah. I know. That's the thing. You should absolutely go subscribe to Josephine on Twitch, and then you can join the Discord and talk about LA by Night in the LA by Night specific Discord spoiler chat Discord. I know stuff. Yep, that's where it is. Katya will give Eva the hug she needs. We can also talk about Katya, because we haven't talked about Katya. We haven't talked about Nelly either, but there wasn't a whole lot going on with Nelly. I had to... Sorry. Something was about to fall off my table. I had this really thing with Nelly in Season 4 that everyone was sort of giggling at me at. When Suzanne... I have such an issue with Nelly and Suzanne being together because of the way it happened. I don't know. It's such a... In Season 2, Suzanne cast instant love on Nelly, right? And made her feel love, which is so disturbing for Suzanne. It's just disturbing because of the manipulation of emotions. Let me be perfectly clear about that. And then it continued, whether it's a lingering effect or whether, you know, it's so bad because the effect is so strong. It's a really old power. It's a homebrew. It's not a power that's in V5 because Suzanne is old. She was around during the time of Marie Antoinette and the time of terror. And whether it's a lingering effect and then Nelly mistook it for real emotion or not is unclear, and it's disturbing. It's disturbing to force someone to feel ways about you and then it continue on, and I get such an icky feeling when I see her with Suzanne and I don't know how to feel about it. I don't. It's so bad. I love Jeva because it's tragic, and I just love punishing myself for a wild relationship that's got depth. Yeah, I don't love punishing myself. At least I like to tell myself I don't. But yes. Yes. Toreador spooky like that? Yeah. I get a lot of flack from this particular opinion that I will share with you, which is, again, I don't like to share my personal opinions about things. And I don't like to talk about myself. But, so I have an issue, or not an issue. Dominate and presence are two of, and we can talk about Oblivion being scary as often as we want, because it is scary in a real kind of a way. In a real, like, you can see the shadow tendrils kind of a way. Obfuscate is kind of scary in the sense where you don't know, if you don't have Auspex, you don't know if another vampire is there. And Protean is scary because, you know, that's literally the ability now that lets you fleshcraft. It lets you grow claws from your hand. Dominate and presence are emotional and mental manipulations. There is something inherently scarier to me about that than being able to, you know, have a pet rat, like animalism. Forcing NPCs or humans or other vampires, members of your coterie, or enemies, to feel ways towards you or to essentially gaslight you, like Victor did to Eva and Jasper, to change, you know, to force them not to do something, or the forgetful mind to change their memories around, or entrancement, or going into older powers like instant love. There's something about that is really disturbing to me. And as much as, you know, I talk everything over with my players don't do this because I think we're all in the same thing. That's something that we discussed because that can cross a line in ways that other powers can't. It always gets to me. It always gives me the ickiest feeling. Oh God, I'm missing so much chat because I'm jibber jabbering. You're not the only one who has a problem with Nellie and Suzanne. There was so much else going on in season 4. I think I was just getting poked fun at for fixating on it so much. I think Suzanne wants Nellie as a doll, honestly. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing and that I just don't quite understand. I just don't quite understand it. I want to, and I kind of don't want to. Nellie's just a pawn in her game, perhaps. Yeah, it's like grooming. Oh, God. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. It's all bad, all the way around. Yeah. It is kind of like Jessica Jones. I mean, presence and dominate freak me out. Victor versus Nines for the heart of Nellie on the cards. I don't know. I don't think Victor feels that way about Nellie. I don't get that vibe from the two of them. I mean, I would love it, but because I would just ship everyone if I could. But I don't get that vibe from them. I don't. Nellie and Nines, maybe. Yes. Dominate is so terrifying to me. The idea of... Yes, vampire bait. Yes. I think about it way too often. Because I think all of my players, except for the Tremere, Astrid, all of them have some dominate powers or presence powers. And just, you know, it can get really bad really fast. Presence is the more terrifying of the two. True Love's face is actually my favorite power. It is so sinister. You're talking Cults of the Blood Gods, Plum Dog Millionaire, aren't you? That's the one you're talking about. You want to hear something real terrifying? Let me... so many books. I really need to organize it, but I'm just really lazy about it. Where is that? Hikata. It should be under Hikata. No. It's not under Hikata. It is under Kindred Religions and the Church of Set. Let's turn this back on. I read Cults of the Blood Gods not too long ago, so I should remember. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so these are some powers that are in Cults of the Blood Gods, and they specifically reference the ministry, or the Church of Set, which is a ministry cult religion. But anyone can learn these things. So, Presence 3, True Love's face is freaky. You need to also have Obfuscate 3. So it's not something necessarily other Tremere will have, but this is definitely something a Ravnos could do because they have Obfuscate and Presence. So, using a potent cocktail of concentrated emotions and illusions, the vampire can alter a mortal's blood resonance or even risk a vampire's connection to humanity. The victim and only the victim perceives the vampire as a mortal they hold strong emotional ties with, such as hate for a rival, passion for a lover, or the complicated feelings a vampire holds for their touchstone. To impersonate someone the victim has strong emotions for, the vampire must know their appearance and what the victim feels for them. And then they make a roll, and on a win, the vampire adds their presence rating to any rolls for affecting a mortal's resonance or a vampire's emotional state. Appearing as a vampire's touchstone is a dangerous game, especially if the victim possesses sense the unseen, but played right, it can lead to stains for the victim as their touchstone appears to become damaged or detached entirely through shifts in behavior, ideals, or even death. And that is horrific. That's horrific. My God, horrific. I just can't. Outstar even said in her one video for her that the Toreador are the scariest because of that. Yeah. I mean, the Toreador aren't the only ones who can use presence. They're one of many clans who can use presence, so I don't necessarily single out the Toreador for that. Scene in Vampire where you use dominate presence on a mortal can be almost banal, but if flipped, it's super horrifying from the mortal viewpoint. Exactly. And I try and make sure that my players don't abuse the NPCs, because that's a terrible message to send. And they don't, but they're well seasoned and they're World of Darkness lore gaming people, so they don't. Nellie and Victor have a very platonic relationship. Yeah, I think it's a very mutual. Well, I have issues about that as well. I have issues about everything. Just Huddy with issues. Effing on Fairbanks. Oh man. Like I said in my last live stream, I would like this show to end with them all going to see a movie at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, and then then do like a Sopranos ending with like a fade to black. I think there is a love between Victor and Nellie. She suggested as much once. Victor isn't possessive like that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Victor's monogamous. I don't know if Nellie is either, to be perfectly honest. I have an issue with Victor, sometimes the way Victor treats Nellie as well, by keeping the limo Chaz's limo, that obviously she did not want him to do, and she obviously hated it, and it obviously made her uncomfortable and, made her relive trauma, and he still kept it just as a big FU to a dead person. That I have an issue with as well. It's great. I'm listening to you chat Vampire while I'm doing work on the charity one-shot next week. Oh, yes, I saw it on Twitter. That's going to be super fun. It's called No Vacancy, right? Somebody promote it. Oh. Huddy doing amazing at the live streaming right now. Yeah, I'm super amazing at live streaming. That's me. Super professional. Look how keyed out my arm is. Ravnos have a nasty bane. I do like the Ravnos bane. It's fun. I can't wait for Josh in our game to catch on fire. That'll be funny. Cult of the Blood Gods. Cult of the Blood Gods is great. I recommend everyone get it. Hello, Magic on Rubik. Have you seen the new powers included in the recent Vampire the Masquerade comics? What do you think about them? No, the Winter's Teeth comics. I want them badly, but I want actual physical comics. I don't really want to read. Everything I have is like PDFs and stuff, and I want the actual physical comics, but I can't get them here. And I'm going to figure out a way to get one of my friends from the States to get them and then send them to me. Because I want the actual physical comics. No, I don't think either of them are monogamous. No. That limo is a huge stain against their relationship for me. Yes. I don't understand what Victor's... Who was he trying to prove it to? And who? Who and why and what for? My God. If they, the players in your story/games, do abuse the NPC or other players with those disciplines to make sure karma comes into play, yeah, that's probably what I would do. There's a... not that we talked about the tabletop game that much, mostly talking about LA by Night and other World of Darkness stuff. Anybody who wants to play the game please make sure that you have a session 0, whoever your storyteller is, or if you're the storyteller, make sure you have a session 0, and make sure you discuss what lines, with lines and veils and things like that with people, with your players and with your storyteller, because safety is super important. And I've gotten quite a few comments from people on my Blood on the Grand Strand game, and in the live chat and stuff. The reason why we have a romance between two PCs in that game, between Josh's character and Kitsu's character, and you know the sort of conversations that they have, we're all super comfy with each other. We're friends, we hang out, and we talked about our safety and stuff. It's the most important thing ever to talk about this stuff with your players. Super important. Just want to say it. And also, don't punish your players. I mean, karma, sure, but don't punish your players. You think we'll see a major character death this season? God, I hope not. I hope not. But, you know, I'm pretty sure that Josephine and Alex are competing to kill themselves, so maybe. So they can come back, so one of them can come back as a Samichi. Hi, Laura of the Apocalypse, welcome. We're just talking about vampires and stuff. My roomie has the Vendetta game and the new one that's coming out too. Ah, yes, I didn't play Vendetta. I was able to play chapters. I think it was chapters. I don't know much about the Vampire Masquerade card games. I'm not a big card game person, unfortunately, except unless it's poker. Yeah, I'm not really a person to give a whole lot of advice on the tabletop game. I say as a storyteller, me doing the one-shot on the family holiday in December was only my second time storytelling on live stream. And there is a huge difference. Let's put it, and I've only technically played Vampire one time as not a storyteller. There is a huge difference between a show and a home game as well, and I cannot stress that enough. Josh, Chris, Harry, Kitsu, and I were putting on a show for you guys, where if we were playing in a home game, there would be a lot more leniency, there would be a lot more me checking rules, there would be a lot more goofy moments of hanging out and just being buds. But because we're putting on a show for you, or for whoever's watching, we do not... it's a different beast, and I'm not sure exactly how to explain it. My very first time playing Vampire, played four episodes, or whatever you want to call it, of a Chicago game, and we were putting on a show. It was serious time. You know, and it's just totally different. I have a home game that I do in German. That's different. It's different. I don't know how to explain it, though. I need Josephine to explain it. Where's Josephine? Is she still in the chat? Oh, it's like we just said that. I'll add, do not compare a show play style. We are actors and not players. It's very different, especially in regards to boundaries. It's like I was just saying that. I should have just looked at the chat instead of opening my mouth. Okay. Oh, God. Yes, consent forms are also good. I can recommend the Gehenna Gaming consent form. It's fantastic. The Gehenna Gaming guys are top-notch. They're the best. That ship sailed on your... To be fair, Josh and Kitsu did not plan to have their characters be romantically involved. They did not plan that. That just happened. Do you think more famous, infamous characters could appear in Season 5? Beckett, and maybe Anatole, even though I don't like him, and Lucita, and Sasha Vikos. Sasha Vikos would be great. Sasha Vikos. Hope there was a death. It's sweet, juicy drama. I don't know anything about LARPing. I have never LARPed. I need Elise Hawes in here, who is an absolutely delightful, lovely person who works for By Night Studios, and they do a lot of the LARP rules. I need them in here, but they're probably working. I know the person who does a lot of the LARP stuff, but I do not know anything about LARPing. I've been privileged enough to get to meet a lot of the people who do a lot of the really cool stuff around the World of Darkness. I do not participate in all of it, or hardly any of it, really. I'm the worst. I need to get in touch with my friends and or other people I know and be like, hey, let me play some vampire, because I think I probably should play more than one time. Alex is a Simichi. Alex is a Simichi. Spoiler alert. Leeches everywhere. Yep, that's us. Whoa, Ice Wizard. What is my favorite clan? The La Sombra is my favorite clan. That's why I'm living my La Sombra fantasy in this dark room, and why I'm having technical issues with my chroma key. Live play is a lot more loose with the rules, yes. Yes, exactly, Laura the Apocalypse. You know, you were on the Onyx Path's Changeling the Lost, so you know. You should all check out Blood on the... Vampire Bay, you're the best mod ever. It's much more narrative and like an improv session, yes. Yes, I speak German. I live in Germany. I am American, but I've lived in Germany since 2013. So, ja, ich kann Deutsch. Jeden Tag spreche ich Deutsch. Weil ich muss. Weil ich hier in Deutschland wohne. Bye, Josephine. Thank you so much. You're awesome. I need to end too, because I'm running out of brain function. Oh God. In the Monster Hearts game we signed on for, I know, I heard you did in the Gehenna Gaming, in the virtual horror con, you did one of the games on there, Elliot. Oh, talked about flirting and sex in advance, and me and my one friend, yeah, the Gehenna Gaming guys, top notch. I love them. Ian is a sweetheart. They're all great. Love them. I just love a werewolf and fae romance. I want to see a werewolf and fae romance. I want to. Oh, can anyone remember which clan the vampire you meet at the hospital is in VTM Bloodlines? The hospital in downtown, that is a Nagaraja, which in V5, the newest edition of Vampire the Masquerade, is part of the Hekata. But Nagaraja would be the name, would be the bloodline. I'm wearing my La Sombra shirt today. I love it. I love it. La Sombra is my favorite. What is my favorite tribe? My favorite tribe is a split between the Bone Gnawers and the Glasswalkers. I change it all the time. I can't decide which one I like better. I think today it's the Glasswalkers, but yesterday it was probably the Bone Gnawers. I don't know. I just like the Bone Gnawers. I like my rat children. Oh man. Oh, are you playing Aberrant now, Laura the Apocalypse? It's awesome. That's awesome. I am leaking brain juice. It's going everywhere. I understood all of that. Thank goodness I still have some German. I didn't say anything that crazy. I just repeated what I said, but in German. Oh, man. For someone who doesn't like live streaming, this has been amazing. It's not that I don't like live streaming. I just don't understand why anyone would want to listen to me jibber jabber. For how long have we been? For almost 3 hours I've been jibber jabbering. Just blathering on nonsense. Oh, God. I know, yeah, when I get better lights, maybe. When I get better lights. But you can see me live streaming on... Having Pisha show up would be cool. That would be cool. I don't think Pisha's alive anymore. I don't know. I just have a feeling. My fave clans are Tremere, Cappadocian from Redemption, La Sombra, and Simichi. Well, Cappadocian are also part of the Hekata now. Technically, Cappadocian's not a clan anymore. They're a bloodline. But yes, they are... Because you're likable, Huddy. Thank you, Vampire Bait. Vampire Bait, I didn't, I just made you a mod because, like, you're my friend and stuff, and I like you and stuff. Because I don't have really any mods. It's not a thing I have. And you're out here, you're killing it. Gibber, the jabbering. Yeah, so if there's any other follow-up questions that you guys want to ask about World of Darkness, about LA by Night, about me, but I'll decide if I'll answer it or not. Please ask away, because I'm starting to lose the brain juice. It's depleting by the second. It's great to hear people talk about what they love. I do love World of Darkness. World of Darkness is absolutely hugely important to me. It's a passion of mine. I think about it all the time. I talk about it all the time. It's changed my life for the better. I have wonderful friends, a wonderful community. I'm excited. I'm busy and doing real life stuff that has nothing to do with World of Darkness, unfortunately, that prevents me from doing it all the time. But nothing makes me more excited than sitting down and writing a script for a lore video. I love everything about it. Bone Nars and the Glasswalkers for me, because I like the idea of playing a Garu that's not... Yes, that's the appeal for me. I think I like the Bone Nars. I don't know. I like... I go back and forth. Oh, man. I can dream that Pish is still alive. I have no proof that she's not. She probably is. I have no idea. Yeah, Vampire Bait was a great mod for Shane. That was great. I miss seeing Shane do live streams. That was hella fun. Hella fun. No, I haven't played Scion. I want to. I want to do so much role playing. Like I said, only role played once. I want to do so much role playing. I need the time, and I also need to actually reach out. I'm not like a super extroverted person, and I always go like, no, they don't want to hear from me. They're busy. They don't want me to bug. I don't want to bug them. So I don't reach out. Oh, it's great. It's great being an introvert. Well, I can't say my favorite clan, but I took a test like 10 times, and I was a child of the moon. Malkavians. Malkavians are great. Do you think demons will appear? No. I think demons in Bali are not going to be a thing for V5. No. And I'm not sad about it. The game you're doing is... The game that I'm doing is not a game, it's a show. We're not just sitting around a table. We're performing. We're acting. We're role-playing, but it's also a show. Movie club memories, I know. That was the best. Shane might be doing a stream with Shakespeare reading at some point, since her Ko-Fi goal was met, but no date on it yet. Yeah. Yeah, I miss... that was great. I love the movies and talking about books and other stuff. Just talking. She was great. Well, if that is everything, I just want to thank all of you for being here. You guys are amazing coming here to listen to me with nothing going on in the background but music that apparently was too low and camera and lights issues and my La Sombra Bane acting up. And you guys are the best. I love reading your comments. I get so excited every video I make. I'm so excited to share it with you. I love interacting with you guys on social media, the ones who I have. And yeah, I'll try and do more of these. If you want to see me live streaming again on Saturday, I can actually do this one, Vampire Bait. I think I can handle this one on my own. I'll put a link here in the chat to twitch.tv/gamingftl. That is where, except it didn't make a link. Why didn't it make a link? Oh no. I did it wrong, Vampire Bait. I'm the worst. That's why I need mods, because I'm bad at this. See, I'll try it again. I'll do a redo.
I
Oh,
woke up.
man.
I got like 3,
Uh,
4 hours of sleep last
oh,
night. So I
God.
feel like a new.
My Twitch is playing. Hey, YouTubers! Let's try it now. How about that one? There we go. That's how you do it. So, if you want to see me live, did it go through? There we go. If you want to see me live, that's where you can see me. I'll be live on Saturday, and I also do other stuff over there sometimes, beckoning and stuff. I'll try and live stream more. I look forward to the next chapter. If Primage and Josh can get the coterie back, we'll find out. 2 of the coterie have been kindred nap, so we'll see. And thank you guys. Just thank you. Just thank you for being here. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for being members of the family or whatever aspect of the World of Darkness that you like the most. And I'll try and do more live streams. I'll try and interact with you guys more. So you can ask me all your questions and we can talk about whatever. And here's hoping for LA by night. Fingers crossed for LA by night, as I'm dying for more LA by night. Have a wonderful evening. Be safe. And I'll see you when I see you. That's all I can say. Bye, everybody. Thank you.